Welcome to another episode of Filmmakers in the Making. Today we have Taylor Ri'chard.
That's right.
Welcome, Taylor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
So Taylor is a director, producer,
Writer.
writer. So it's pretty much all in one.
All in one little bucket.
Perfect. So Taylor, tell us a little bit about your background, where you came from before filmmaking.
I'm originally from Louisiana, and I've been here since right after Katrina. I went to undergrad in Louisiana in New Orleans, studied film, and ended up going into corporate America and did that for about 10 years. Got exhausted on that and decided that I was going to pursue film full time. And that's what I've been doing since.
So before getting to the filmmaking work, you went to get the skills at the college.
The program I was in, the undergrad program, they really were focused mostly on mass communications. So we did film stuff, but it was very much TV. And at the time, I knew that wasn't pretty much what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a filmmaker. So because I didn't feel I had the skill set I needed, I didn't really have the confidence. And so I went into corporate America and I worked for companies like AT&T. At the time I worked for Blockbuster's corporate office. And then when you're sitting there and you're doing something you really don't want to do, you just decide, I'm done with it. And so I just went to film and I just started making a movie. I had no idea what I was doing, but I just did it and then revert backwards and ended up going back to grad school and working on craft.
So let's throw something there, a question I have. Let's say you can travel in time and go back then. What you would do differently? You would,
like in regards to college?
When you were working in the corporate American.
Well, I think if I had to rewind, obviously there's no regrets. I think I got a lot of business savvy from the business world that are definitely helping me with what I do as a profession because I'm not just a director. I'm able to produce and I'm able to manage the business of film, and that's no doubt because of the sales and marketing skills that I acquired working in that business. But I think if I had to go back and do it over, I probably would have just gone straight to film school, traditional film school in New York or LA or something like that at the time.
Perfect. So as a director, I know you have directed so far 2 feature films, correct? Great. So, how was the first day you were on set and you about to say action for the first time as a director? How was your mind going on?
It was a hot mess. Honestly, the strangest thing happened. So my first film is a found footage feature film. And I don't know if you guys know this show called Vampire Diaries, but they shoot it in Covington, Georgia. And we rented the location from the homeowner, but the studio still had access to the home. WB at the time, Warner Brothers owned that that series, and we got there ready to go, ready to shoot, and they told us, "Oh, you can't shoot anything that looks or resembles our show," and it was still dressed for the show. And we had no idea, and so when you asked me what was going through my head, I was like, oh my God, I'm screwed because I'm now going to owe somebody a lot of money and I can't even film the film that I wrote. Oh. So it was a hot mess. But we powered through though.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So as a writer, so now talking about as a writer, how you come up with a story, as a creative person, I would say, how you go and hunt this story that you would like to tell?
So growing up in Louisiana, we do a lot, we deal a lot with folklore and, these ghosts and goblins, voodoo, witchcraft is just kind of part of the culture. So for me, having these conversations in that world have always been so natural. And that's why I gravitated to horror as an entryway into film. 1, because it was cost effective, and 2, because I understood the genre very well, because I understood what Gothic horror was, because I'm from a Gothic place. And so when we wrote this story, this first movie, because I wrote the final project with my business partner, Zach Davis, and when we sat down to tell the story, when I conceptualized it, it was just me retelling what I'd experienced growing up, things that we heard about. So taking the stories that we were given snippets of, and I dragged it out into a real, feature-length film. That's how it inspired me.
So a conversation we were having before we rolled cameras, it was very interesting, and I would like to bring it up. Okay. We were talking about the black filmmaker making it happen in this industry. How do you feel about that? How you keep pushing through?
Well, I pushed through because I understand the responsibility that I have. You know, when I picked up, you know, a pen to write film and I decided that I was going to go out there and become a filmmaker, and then I urged my film into the movie theater, that I took on a responsibility because now I have other black filmmakers looking at me as an example. And regardless of whether or not you want to be the model, role model for someone, we don't all set out to do that, but you do have to understand that with great, you know, success comes great responsibility. So if you are able to open the door, you have to take that seriously. Yeah. So for me, how I push through is that I realize that it's not just me in the fight to get the types of movies I want made, to get the type of recognition that I'm hoping to receive one day. I'm in the fight for me and everyone that looks like me. So that's easy. I just keep moving forward because I'm bringing the community along with me. Yeah.
So how important is to collaborate together as a one and keep moving forward?
I think it's very important. Filmmaking is not a solo job. You don't dial it in. You're not in a cubicle. It takes a whole team of people to make a film. As a director or a producer, you're only as good as the people you bring onto the project. So I think that building the relationships with filmmakers who you respect and that you look up to is important. No one will make it in this business if they are going to do it by themselves, because you can't. What is this, a one-man show? You just can't do it. You know, when I think about James Cameron and I think about Steven Spielberg and I think about Peter Jackson, how they were back then, that's how we have to be now. They are all very supportive of each other. The Samuel Jacksons and the Spike Lees, they worked together in the very beginning, and look at them 20 years later. You have to do the same thing here. You know, Atlanta's at a very interesting place now because we are poised to really become the hub of filmmaking as a whole. And that no city has ever presented that before. And I think what's very important for Atlanta-based filmmakers is to understand is that we really are one. And really, we step forward together or we don't step forward at all. Yep. That's how important collaboration is to me.
And sometimes, you know, I see some people like they don't want to help somebody because they're afraid that the project look too good, and like we were saying, it won't help me to expose myself. But how you approach that when you see somebody like, you know, nobody want to help you because they're kind of like jealous or something like that?
You know, there's a lot of ego in the business. Let's not pretend that, you know, we have to be that way sometimes. Ego, there has to be a certain level of ego because you have to know that you are good at what you do, because if you don't, no one's going to believe it, so you have to believe it first. But the problem is when you let yourself become intimidated by another filmmaker, and, you know, what I do is what I do. What you do is what you do. It doesn't take away from both of us doing it together. You know what I mean? So like if I'm making a film, I want the best. And if I respect what you do, I'm going to ask you to help me. And if you respect what I do, you'd ask me to help you. We have this thing where we have a problem with giving compliments or being supportive because we feel like that's going to take away from what we're doing. Correct. But if your talent is in place and your work is good, you don't have to explain nothing to anybody, because when you do the work and it's the right kind of work, the accolades will come. So you won't have a problem saying, hey, Rolando, hey, can I help you on your film? Or you did a good job, or I'm coming to support you at your event. It doesn't take away from what I'm doing. I'm here for you. And that's what we have to understand. We don't have to tear each other down to make it in this business. That's just a myth that the media teaches us.
It's not such thing as your movie is better than mine, or who else movie is better than mine, or who else commercial is better than mine. I think, you know, like something that Guillermo del Toro said this year when he was about to deliver the Oscar to Best Director, he said, the 8 pictures we have tonight nominated for Best Picture, they live untouched. Yes. What do you think about that?
I completely agree with that. When you spend time trying to, you know, feel like your film is better than someone and you have to bring this air about yourself, you're just wasting time. You know, I make it my business not to talk about filmmakers in a negative way, because I understand how hard it is to make a film. And once you have scraped your knees, begged for people to help you, you don't have nothing negative to say about another filmmaker. People drag, they talk about Tyler Perry. Oh, they don't like his work. Doesn't matter. He has an audience. They talked about Sharknado. Doesn't matter. It has an audience. It has the same audience as the people that went and watched The Meg, which was by far a better film quality-wise. But it doesn't matter. You have to just let filmmakers make what they make and let them find their audience, because every film has an audience. And it may be my audience, your audience may be different from my audience. It doesn't matter. So understand that your film will have a place. You can be supportive.
Yeah, and then won't take nothing.
It doesn't take anything from you. It's like it's a waste of time and a waste of energy. I have no energy. I want the best around me on set. So I'm not the best at everything. I couldn't DP to save my life. You know what I mean? But I'm going to find the best DP I can. And it doesn't matter if it's not somebody I've ever worked with before. I'm going to beg you to help me because my job is to tell my story the most effective way. And that's involving the people that know more. If I need to bring another director on set to consult with me on a shot that I've never done before, that's what I'll do. There's no ego about that. Your job and your responsibility is to the craft. And if this is what you do because you love it, then I am a steward of the craft. I make films because this is what I felt I was born to do. I don't make films to become rich. I don't make films to be whatever. I hope that my films are inspiring for someone to take them to the next level or to help them with something that's going on in their life. So approaching it that way, I'm going to find the people that can help me best execute that.
And that's your story.
That's right.
You're telling right there.
That's it.
So
This is the truth.
it's very, very deep right there. So talking about a little bit, you said about bringing people, asking for help, pretty much. So as a director, you said you don't have no problem to be somebody, bring some director to set. I mean, I really like that because I just show you are a person who recognize, I need help with this.
Right.
It's nothing, it doesn't make me, I don't know what I'm doing. It's just, it just needs some support. Or sometimes, I've seen like, I'm pretty sure you know about it. It's not like, you need help. You need somebody to take you out. You're so focused on something.
Right.
You don't see the whole picture. And sometimes
Absolutely.
you need somebody to, pull you out and
You have to
understand.
When you write a movie, the danger of being a writer, is that when you write something, you want to go on set and shoot exactly what you wrote. But you need people around you that are strong enough to tell you, I know you wrote it this way, but for what our budget is, for what our time is, for what we have to redirect the thought process on this shot to get it done as effective as we could. That's a hard thing. So you have to have strong people around you who are good at their job, and they can streamline you in that way. And so for me, I don't, do I have a level of cockiness? Oh, of course I do. I'd be crazy not to. This is a dog-eat-dog business.
Yep.
But I don't have ego. I don't. I want to involve myself with the right people to do the right things, and that's it.
Yeah,
that's all I'm worried about.
That's awesome.
I'm always and always will be here for the project. Filmmakers hit me up on Instagram all the time and like, oh, can you help me? And I always offer a kind word. I always offer some support. If I think that there's something that they show me and they're asking my opinion, I always say, are you able to handle a real critique? And it's a yes or no. And if they say yes, I will take my time and give them a real critique, because in the beginning, I didn't have any of that. I literally was on YouTube like, okay, how do I edit? What is Final Cut? What in the hell? Like, that's what it was like. And I was like, oh my God, I wish I had someone that I could just reach out to and they were okay with me asking questions. And that's just what I want to do. I don't ever want to become too famous that I can't reach out to other filmmakers, because I understand how visceral this dream is for people. I live and breathe film every day. And so for the little kid sitting down in Louisiana that's looking at me from the same hometown, he's like, oh my God, I want to do that. I want him to feel comfortable calling me after seeing me at the Golden Globes. He can reach out to me on Instagram. I don't want to become that person that I'm so out of touch.
Like
that, oh, don't touch me.
Yeah.
No, I'm here with all of you always. I might be at the Grammys or the Oscars doing my thing, but I'm still here when you need me as much as I can be.
I mean, that's great. I mean, that's very, I really like the humbleness.
Yeah.
Because I think as a creative person, sometimes creative people trying to isolate themselves.
Yeah.
Like they're walking their own bubble around and nobody can touch them. And actually, it can show you're a very mature director. Like you take any type of opinion to help you grow your art,
I just
craft.
really believe in collective synergy. I think you can get a lot more done with good people around you that have an understanding of what you're trying to do than you going somewhere and just being like, okay, this is what I want, and I want you all to conform to that and do it, and that's it. That doesn't move you forward at all.
So how you keep the hustle on, man? How you feed that hunger?
I pray a lot. It's hard, I'm not gonna lie, because I'm still growing in my career. And so there's still a lot of hustle that has to happen. I still have to go get the money. I still have to go make it happen. I've been blessed with my first film that has, given me some financial, windfall, but I still have to work and do what I have to do, because I do this full time. I'm a full-time filmmaker, so.
So yeah, like what we're talking about, before, how to learn the craft, it may take a couple of years, but it's not until you believe in yourself that you can unleash the potential of your skills.
Right.
Can you elaborate that to filmmakers out there who are still lacking belief and they want to do what you're doing right now?
Well, it's true. Just give you a little example. I shot my first film in 2011. It didn't release until 2016. Now that's not because there was some time code to what I was on. It wasn't it. I shot it in 2011. I lost faith in the project. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe in what I did. I went back to work, and I put the film on a hard drive and walked away from it. And then one day, I was at my job around 2015, and I was very, very unhappy. And I was like, why don't I just try to edit this and put this together and just see what I can come up with? And I did it, and I screened it in a private screening. I think Barry Gordy used to do this with Motown, where he would do quality control check. So I did a quality control check on my film, where I invited people who were harsh critics that didn't really like the genre I was in, and I wanted to know what this film made them feel. And would you buy this ticket to this film, or would you buy a sandwich if you were starving? Like, I asked that question, and I wanted to know. And the majority of the room said, you know what, we wouldn't buy the sandwich, we would go watch the film. So that made me open to my belief in myself. The thing is, with belief in yourself, you have to erase ego and understand that you have to be open to be criticized. You are in the art field. People are going to tell you things. Listen, when my first film came out, I mean, you can Google this. The reviews were awful. They were. Financially, it was a great move, but critically, they were saying all kind of stuff. You should stop making movies. Did that stop me from making movies? No, because this is what I was born to do, and I believe this is what I'm born to do, because I saw the reaction in the theaters with the people, not the critics that are not making films. I'm not going to get caught up in that world. So you have to allow yourself to be open to be critiqued, not take it personal, understand it's all about the craft, use the critiques that make sense. Thank you for the ones that you don't use, and understand that you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. Some people are going to love it, some people won't. Make a film for yourself, and just open that film up to the world and share it with others. That's how you make movies. You don't make movies for the audience, because you're never going to make everybody happy. Yep. You know what I mean? When you think about like Avatar, I thought it was one of the greatest films I've ever seen in my life. There's people that's like, oh, it's awful. You're never going to please everybody. But that movie was made for himself. He worked on that for many years. You have to make movies for yourself that you enjoy, and then you share that joy with people. And those that love it, right on. Those that don't, I'll try again next time for you. And that's it.
Yeah. It's as simple as hard, to keep doing it.
Yeah.
So you touched on something, say criticism. You said you used that negative criticism as a positive thing. I say many filmmakers, sometimes they get harsh criticism and they quit. How you elaborate a little bit more deep onto that criticism side, because it's something that every creative person get criticized. Doesn't matter what type of art you do. So, and the point I'm trying to go, sometimes you have to understand who is giving you the criticism and why the person is coming from. Right. So, how you deep inside you, how you process that, and when somebody approaches you, let's say you screen your movie and they say, "Hey Taylor, I hate your movie." Right in your face.
It really just depends on where it's coming from. If it's another filmmaker that says that, I may feel some type of way about it, because of course you want your colleagues to respect what you do. If it's a film critic, I could care less, because you don't make movies. And that's probably what I would say. I'll be like, well, how's your film doing? Oh, you don't have one. Thank you. And I'd walk on about my business.
That's great.
I don't have energy for that stuff. What would hurt my feelings or make me reflect is someone I respected coming to me and saying, I don't like your film. Then I'm going to say, well, why don't you like it? And what did you not understand? Because you just have to be open to that. You're not going to win everyone. I think that's the thing that film school did for me, because it was a very competitive environment, and they were very critically open to tell you what they thought about you and what they didn't like or not like. And that exercise, going through that for 2 years, it made me, it desensitized me to critique. Now it's just, when you tell me you can come in my face, you say, I don't like your film, I'll say, oh, I really wish I could have made you like it. I'm sorry that you didn't get it, but maybe you'll get it next time. Maybe I can do something next time that'll win you over. Just stick with me, because I do appreciate the support. And you keep it moving. Yeah. Because that's not about you, that's about them. Yeah. You can't make people like something. You can only do what you do. Yeah. And that's it.
So that's great. So now, as a director writer, when you write your script, you have it ready to go. What is people doesn't know how to convert a script into a film? How you approach to that as a director writer to explain people out there how you can translate that.
So for me, I have to, because I do all three jobs, I try to really separate myself. So when I'm in the writing process, I don't think about producing, which is usually the problem that comes up. Because if I allow my producing hat to come on, I will change my script to fit some mythical budget that I haven't even created yet. So it will compromise the integrity of the art. So for me, I focus on the script and I write exactly what I want. If I believe someone should jump out of a plane and fall to the ground and blow into 10 pieces, I'm gonna write it. I'll deal with that on the other side. But as a writer, I approach my work from an honest place. Whatever's inspired me to write this, I'm gonna get it all out. And then as a director, I create the storyboards, the looks, the feels, the movements, whatever I wanna talk about cinematically with this film. And then when we get into the producing side, usually I have a great producing partner, Gentry Parks. We will sit and she will then give me all of the negative, you can't do this, we can't afford that, and then we just deal with it. And I will adjust as I need to. But for me, the script is like the Bible of my production. And I always make sure that when I'm lost in the transition or lost in the financial conversations, I go back to what I wrote originally, because that's gonna give me the inspiration to move me, to the green light.
Mm-hmm. We were talking before how you are using your next project to push the one you have right now. I said it right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm in the process of writing my third film. My third film is a representation of what I want to do going forward. I entered horror because I absolutely love the genre, but I don't consider myself a forever horror maker. I will always lend myself back to the genre at some point, but I think at this time I'm ready to move on to more drama, action-related fantasy films, which is really ultimately what I want to do. And so right now, what I want to do, we're getting ready to start shopping the film and meeting with people in LA to get the film curated. I'm going to use that film to push my next film, which is almost done. My next film project. And I think that's one thing that filmmakers should know. You always have to have 2 films ready. Because if you do make a film and it goes to the film festival, they're always going to ask you, what do you got going? What's next? You don't know who you're talking to. And the last thing you want to say is, oh, I'm focused on this right now, because that's a one-trick pony, and no one invests in a one-trick pony. Today, when people invest in films, they invest in your catalog of work. So they're going to invest in this film, the next one, and the one after. And that's the position you want to be in. You want to have a budget that comes to you that can support 3 films. That means you're working for the next 3 years, and you're really building your profile. That's how you make it and you turn it. You can't just focus on today. You have to focus on today and tomorrow.
Yes, that's a great point right there. You have to be ahead of what's going on next year.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then this movie you just finished is about to release. What is about? Tell us what is.
Hallowed Be Thy Name. I love it so much. It is a horror film, and it's, like I said, it's a kind of like a throwback to the 80s, to John Carpenter's Halloween and Freddy Krueger. These kinds of films are what I grew up with. I'm an 80s baby. I'm kind of dating myself right now, but I'm an 80s baby, and that is what I grew up with. And so when Stranger Things came out, I was so fascinated with the look and how they made this new TV show look like it was from the 1980s. And so I wanted to bring that to the film. And so Hallowed Be is about 3 kids that go into a cave in a small town, and they steal from it. People go in this cave and they go to get these wishes. There's some mythical belief that there's a cave god that gives them wishes. And so these kids go into the cave and they leave a wish, but they kind of take it as a joke, but they steal from the cave. And when they steal from the cave god is really a demon who's possessed, and he comes after them to recover the things they stole, killing everything in his path. So that is what we do, and it's kind of like Hellraiser meets Jason and Michael Myers all in one. So
I was lucky enough to see a couple stills from the picture a couple months ago, and then you were talking to me how you sat down with the DP and then go through the looks and all that. Can you tell us how was the process with DP?
So what I like to do with my DP, because I'm somewhat of an auteur. I think I kind of micromanage my process a little more than most. But what I do with my DP is I like to sit with them and I like to talk cinematically. What are we going to sell with this film? It's not, okay, we know what the script is going to do. We know what the actors are going to say. But what are we going to do with this camera? And why do we light it this way? Everything for me in my films are intentional. I do not believe in just lighting things because they're pretty. or let's put a blue light here because it's pretty. I want to know, what are we trying to tell with that light? Why do we have his face this way? Why are we framing him this way? What type of framing can we create to suggest this emotion? Because I want the DP to receive as much accolade telling the story cinematically as I'm going to get as a director. You know, so I really partner myself with my DP from the very beginning. I'm done with the script, let's go through the storyboard, frame by frame, and I want your input. I don't want to create one frame that my DP hasn't fallen in love with, that we both have fallen in love with. It's not just, here's my storyboards, do it my way, and you just, that's not fair, because they're an artist.
Yep.
And this is their work, and so that's the relationship I have with the DPs I work with. I bring them in the creative process from the very beginning, and I think for any filmmaker out there, the better you are to your DP, the better your work will be. Because if they can believe in what you're doing, and they can feel like they have put their heart and soul into your project, they're going to show up on set and they're going to run out of it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And they're going to give you an image that you only dreamed of. And that's the thing I'm so proud of with this film. It's gorgeous because he loved it, because he believed in it, because I brought him in the process at the beginning. I didn't hand him a storyboard and said, now make my film. No, we're making our film. We're together.
That's great. That's
So,
the way it is. So now you touch that base. How you as a director, you know, one thing is the creative side, another thing is the managing side. How you were able to put your vision in every single person's mind on set.
So that vision is done before we get to set, because I spend a lot of time with departments. So like I said, I'm a very hands-on director. I don't believe in this departmentalization of things. I'm the boss of the set. And what I mean by that is I want you to feel comfortable talking to me. I know you may be the gaffer and your DP is your boss, but if your DP is busy, I don't want you to feel like you can't come to me and ask me a question. Because like I said, me and my DP married ourselves together. I know what he's going to tell you because I know what we talked about. Same thing with the makeup person. You're going to talk to me and I'm going to talk to you and I'm going to tell you what I feel and you're going to suggest to me what you think will work. And I'm going to go with it. Same thing with the producer. Same thing with the sound people. We are all in this together. I sit with them one-on-one before we even get to set. And sometimes I feel bad because I have all these meetings, but I just think it's important that we all understand what we're trying to create. What is the mood of my feelings when I wrote this line? So that when you're doing sound, you know where I'm coming from. I invite my post-sound person to set so he can understand what's in my mind when we're directing it, so when he's gonna score my film, he know what I was doing already. When we created the score for this film, it took him 2 weeks, and he said that's one of the fastest that he's ever done. Why, you ask? Because I had him on set, and he took notes, and he recorded the things I was saying. So when he was scoring, he was like, damn, what was Taylor thinking when he did this? He don't have to worry because he took notes about what I was talking about. And I think that's important. Now the score fits exactly the mood I was brooding when we were doing the film. It's a collaboration.
Yeah, it
and
is.
You have to be, I have to pour my head open. The hardest thing as a director is getting them inside your head. And I think that's why I go over it and over it and over it with them. So when we get to set, no one has a question. Not for me, because they already know. I done poured it all out for them. You know, and that's just what you have to do. You have to be willing to lay it out there. You know, they always say singers go on stage and they leave it on the stage. Well, I leave mine on the set. I just give you the best I got.
Give it all.
And I kill myself in pre-production.
Yeah. But that's, when you kill yourself in pre-production, that's being, you can see that, and when you're in production, you can see how well prepares everything. You try to, you know, see I mean, you can see what was going to be wrong in the future.
And one point I want to make, you know, it's not always easy.
No.
I had the most difficult decision of my career with this film. There was an actress who we had hired initially, and unfortunately, she couldn't really, I think her issue, she couldn't scream, and it was a horror film, so you have to scream.
Yep.
I absolutely loved this girl, loved her. I handpicked her myself, and when she couldn't deliver, it was devastating that I had to let her go, and it was the hardest thing. But when I say you have to be strong enough to keep the integrity of the film, no matter what the situation is, no matter how much you love somebody, no matter how much you believe in them, when you take that that script, and you say, I'm gonna make a movie, and you let that investor put his money in, the movie is the baby, and it has to be nurtured and raised, and it has to graduate into a film. And so whatever has to happen, whatever relationships have to be changed, severed, you gotta do it. It's the hardest thing I've ever been to. So, and I said that to say, it isn't all glamorous, and it's not easy, and it's not always fair, and it's not always so simple as a pre-production. You get on set, and it falls apart because someone can't do what they said they were gonna do. You have to be strong enough to say, I have to replace you. And it broke my heart to do it, but
It's the best
It's what had
decision
to
for a
happen.
project.
You have to do it.
Yeah.
You know.
So you have to separate from your personal
Absolutely.
fun
And you do it respectfully. You be honest. A lot of people they'll sugarcoat around things like, oh, just, I love you. This is not, I won't be doing you good service by putting you and burning you into film in this light. You won't work again if someone sees this. So not to have you with that, I'm going to step you to the side. We're going to bring someone in who can do it, and we'll work together later.
And that's being professional.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's being professional and respectful for
Yes.
both for you, for the project, and for the person too.
Because I never bring someone on a film set with an intention to fire them. That's not realistic. I handpick everyone that works with me. I am a part of all of those decisions, for all the way down to the PAs. I want to know who you are. I speak to everyone on set every single day. I'm never too busy. I talk to the crafty people, I talk to the PAs, and I say goodnight to everyone. Because you poured your heart out and soul for me for 12 hours, I'm going to speak to you. And I think I've been on film sets where directors don't do that. They're very, and I can't be bothered and see you all and whatever. I'm not like that. I will stay with you till the end. I will help you with and maybe that may not always be the case as the sets get bigger and they get more expansive, but right now in the indie world, we're in this together. And I'm going to say hello and good night to you every night.
Well, that's a great point, because sometimes directors, some directors, not all, but they like to. You over there, I'm here. I'm the director chair, and you are the.
I'm the director. I'm God, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
Respect me, and I'm like, okay.
That's a great point. And then, anything else you would like to say?
Well, thank you. I think the work you're doing here is amazing, and I think that it's inspiring filmmakers are able to turn into this, channel and watch it and hear this type of conversation. Is going to be miles and miles for them, in support and in encouragement. You have to stay on task, and it's hard. And there will be days you're going to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Oh my God, I'm going back to work. And that's the days that you need to dig the deepest, because if you know what you're doing is real, and you're born to do this, walk in your path. Everything else will fall in place. It has to.
That's great, man. Thank you so much for being with us.
I appreciate it.
And then, filmmakers out there, please share this video. I mean, it's not for benefit of us, it's for the benefit of people out there who need to hear. I mean, this is a great story. How to keep hustling, how to keep going, and then just really share, like us, and then see you in the next episode. Thank you so much.